Hello everyone, so I'm going to do this problem, the 2.4.2 challenge activity. Alright, so what we have is we have a bunch of statements and they have syntax errors. So we're going to go through and we're going to go through each one and find out what the error is. So first, what you want to do is you don't want to just copy and paste, you want to actually type out the answer, just so you get used to typing it. So let's just type it all exactly how it says. I chose this one because it's a little tricky because it covers something that I don't think we've covered in class yet. So first of all, remember that song num, this is just a convention for variables, but it's good to get into a habit like this. Song num and other variables that you see throughout the chapter, they are in what's called camel case, which means that the first letter is not capitalized, but then every other word in the variable name is capitalized. So if we had like, let's just make another variable here, like dance, party, attendance, then dance would not be capitalized, but party attendance would also be capitalized, if that makes sense. Okay. So, let's look at these. So you see that the N is capitalized and this N is not capitalized. This is something that I've run into a lot when I've been programming this week, is I always forget to capitalize this N. So it's a good habit to get into, is to capitalize it. And the plus is here, and the space is here, so this should be fine. This one, now, I'm going to come back to this one. Let's do this one next. The N is capitalized, but there's no plus here. So this will connect these two inside of the system.out.println function. Now this one's a little tricky because I don't think we ever covered this one in class. But whenever you see an int, and I think it also counts for, I'm much more familiar with C, but I think it also counts with like Boolean and float, and what's another one? Double? Does it have a double? Whenever you see that, that means that you're in a variable declaration. Now, a variable declaration you only want to do the first time you use a variable, because what that does is it creates a variable. Now, in almost all cases that I understand, I might be wrong about this, a variable declaration should only be on its own line, like this. It should not be inside of a function call. The only time that you would want a variable declaration inside of a function that I know of would be in a for loop, which we haven't covered loops yet, but like that would be like for int I equals 0, I is less than 100, I plus plus, do something. So in this type of loop construction, you do want to use the int I, but otherwise you don't ever want to use an int I. Like if you ever see int I or int something or float something or boolean something inside of parentheses, then it's probably wrong. So let's try this and see if it works. Failed to compile. Oh, yeah, I forgot to change this. Right, I was talking about it so long, I didn't actually change it. And it worked. And that's the answer. So I hope that helped you. I mean, these are little errors that I've been having all week, like forgetting to capitalize the N, or forgetting an N here, or something like that, or forgetting a space here. So I think these are really useful to learn.